As COVID second wave led to shortage of ICU beds, liquid medical oxygen, Bharani Kumar Arol, president of HICIA, worked with NGOs on the ground. HICIA helped several hospitals in Hyderabad in providing ICU beds, ventilators, liquid medical oxygen via its multi-pronged approach. NewsX proudly recognizes second wave superhero Bharani Kumar Arol.
Good evening and welcome. You're watching NewsX special series Second Wave Superheroes. Today, joining us is Mr. Bharani Kumar Arol, who is the CEO of InfoPeer Solution, and he is also president of Hyderabad Software Enterprises Association. A very warm welcome, sir, to NewsX, and thank you for joining us today. Let's dive into the conversation. And my first question to you is about what was the role of Hyderabad, Software Enterprises Association, and how did you combat or help people out there during the second wave, which was devastating?
Thank you very much, and I'm very happy that you had me today in the show. Well, Hyderabad Software Enterprises Association, the acronym is HICIA, is a 30-year-old organization trying to work towards promoting the IT industry in Hyderabad and in Telangana. And I'm very happy to be saying that I'm the current president of the HICIA. And so we've been constantly working towards promoting the IT industry here. And we've been very, very successful working with the government and also all the stakeholders for that matter. But what is primarily our area of focus of late, the last 1 year plus, is the COVID relief activities, because eventually it has not only impacted the IT industry, it has also impacted a common citizen. So with that said, we have been mobilizing all the resources that is humanly possible in the IT industry and trying to help the entire community around us, not trying to be only focusing on IT industry per se, but we have shown a lot of pride in helping the community around us, which is basically anybody for that matter who are living in Hyderabad. And we have also just extended our outreach to the remote districts of Telangana as well. I'll speak in more detail as we move in, but otherwise that has been our focus in the last close to a year and 3 months.
What all challenges did you face, and what were the solutions that HICIA was providing?
Wonderful. So first of all, during the wave one, we were basically looking at how do we support the medical infrastructure, because as you all know, the medical infrastructure in the country was under tremendous stress. So with that said, what we did was to be able to support the state government in terms of procuring a lot of, medical infrastructure equipments. And that's what we did. We were able to work with other industry bodies in Hyderabad, and we almost mobilized close to 80 crores. And then we were able to procure a lot of medical infrastructure that was distributed to medical hospitals across the state, right? And that was our focus in the first wave. The second wave, very importantly, what we wanted to do based on our experience is that we wanted to do a demand or need assessment, right? To be able to understand what is really needed on the ground, because many corporates would just donate money, but eventually, what is it being donated for, right? And how is it really reaching the, and creating the desired impact? So this is all very, very important. So based on our experience in the first wave, second wave, primarily we focused on the demand assessment and the need assessment. And based on that, we started mobilizing the resources and, started doing the interventions directly on the ground. At the ground level, understanding what the needs are. We identified that it was staffing that was a huge crisis. A lot of need for nurses, healthcare workers, and sanitary workers, and all that stuff. And also, they wanted some basic medical equipments which would enable them to be able to increase the ICU bed capacity or maybe patient health services capacity. So with all those information that we've been gathering on a daily basis, we were able to do a lot of improvement in the healthcare services delivery by the government hospital themselves. And I'm telling you, maybe we could just talk about the number of lives we've saved, but I think it gives us immense pleasure and satisfaction that we were able to save a lot of lives. In addition to that, we've been working on setting up ICU beds because, many lives were lost because of lack of ICU beds at that point in time, because the entire system was under a lot of stress. So now we are going to be inaugurating close to about 130 ICU beds. Already some of the ICU beds were enabled, upgraded, and some new ICU beds are also kind of being installed right now. The next couple of days, we will just be commissioning that. Again, that is being done in a hospital called TIMS, Telangana Institute of Medical Sciences. That is also a government hospital specifically for COVID. So we've just been extending our support many different ways, and even isolation kits, and giving our frontline workers whatever necessary aid that is needed. And believe me, we just kind of went around doing all kinds of interventions that is possible, thanks to our IT industry, volunteers, and also the sponsors, right, who made it really happen.
Right. What your organization and association has been doing is commendable, and it, if I talk about the third wave, what do you think hospitals and with your association and NGOs, how could we be better prepared for the third wave? Because second wave we were just caught sleeping.
Absolutely. Great question. See, we've already started preparing for wave 3, right? And you know what? If that doesn't happen, great. Even if there's a possibility of happening less than 1%, we better just plan for it, because we've had amazing, kind of impact that we've never even anticipated, right? For wave 2. So what we were doing right now is that the ICU bed setup that we are looking at, and also we are working with a couple of other stakeholders in setting up ICU beds in the districts, right? Because what we've been hearing is that the next wave, it could be even impacting children in a big way. At least some of the information that we've been gathering. So we want to set ICU beds in such a way that it is going to be flexible enough for even accommodating children, and that is going to be a key area, because we don't want to lose even one more life, right? We have seen many, and that is the reason why, even if there's a very remote possibility of wave 3, which we don't wish happens, but still we want to be prepared. And we're working very closely with the NGOs, with the corporates, with the government, to be able to create adequate infrastructure which will be more sustainable in nature. And even for not COVID, this infrastructure that we want to create will definitely be utilized for for future use, just ICU beds.
Right. So thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the broadcast today. And it was really nice having you and your association be part of this special series, Second Wave Superheroes. Thank you so much for your selfless service.
Thank you very much for having me, and thanks for this opportunity. I appeal to the citizens through this forum that please do help others, because this is the time that we have to be demonstrating our humanity to be able to help each other and save lives. That's very, very important.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.